I've spent like the last 4 years of my life writing about strange and weird and interesting stories from the past that people probably haven't heard of. And in doing all of that research and writing, I've found that there are specific kinds of stories that I really love to tell and kinds of stories that I don't really like to tell quite as much. One of the kinds of stories that I just absolutely love researching and love telling is the Lost City. And not like Atlantis, because obviously that's like pseudo-historical garbage, but like actual cities that existed and then for some reason or another don't exist anymore. This photo is from Bayocean, Oregon, which is a city that used to exist and is one of the most interesting lost cities I've ever researched. Bayocean was built in the late 1920s and 1930s in Tillamook Bay in Oregon, and the people that purchased this land and started this construction project spared absolutely no expense. They made Bayocean the absolute most luxurious resort town they could possibly make. It had a multi-story hotel, paved streets, a tram system. It had electrical generators, indoor plumbing, which doesn't sound like a lot, but at this time and place it kind of was a big deal. Also, hot water, another thing that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it kind of is. It had movie theaters and dance halls and every possible amenity that a wealthy family from Portland could ever hope to need in a beach town where they could have their summer home. The most impressive building in Bayocean, in my opinion, was actually the one in this photo. That's a natatorium, which is apparently a very, very large indoor saltwater swimming pool, big enough for canoe races, and they even had a wave generator. Unfortunately for the residents of Bayocean, the people that purchased this land and put their very, very expensive city on top of it, didn't think about the land that they were building on and accidentally built their very expensive resort town on a bunch of sand that, like, depending on the year, just gets washed away. And so that's what started to happen. And I love this person down here putting these little sandbags at the bottom of that hill. Like, points for trying, but that's not gonna help at all. Here's the backside of that natatorium as it slowly just collapsed as the sand beneath it got washed into the ocean. By the 1940s, the town was basically abandoned, and in the 1950s, the very last residents left, and all that's left today is a plaque and some sand. I think there's a little bit of poetic irony in the story of Bayocean. Like, these people in this photo were some of the wealthiest people on the West Coast, and they spent their money frivolously, and they wasted it, and in turn got to watch all of their investments slowly disappear into the ocean.